The very first thing you gotta do before you worry about investing your money or budgeting your money or doing anything is you gotta calculate and figure out how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. If you do not know how much money you have coming in and out, you are just gonna be one big question mark when it comes to money. So I want you to pull out a piece of paper, pull out your pay stubs, pull out your credit card statements and your bank statements, look at how much money you have coming in every single month, and then look at how much money is going out. This is gonna give you a good idea of just kind of a broad picture overview of where your finances are right now. The reason this is so important to start with is because the majority of people in America are living a life where they have $1 coming in, and for every dollar that comes in, they have $1.20 going out because they're financing their life with credit cards and lines of credit and debt. The crazy thing is that there's a lot of people that don't actually realize that they're living like this because they're just making the minimum payments on all their cards and their debt payments, and so they're making money and they're making the payments thinking that everything is okay because they never actually take a look at their finances. So what I want you to do is literally just take a piece of paper and draw 3 columns on it. Draw one with how much money is coming in, so your income. Draw one with how much money is going out, so this is your expenses. And then draw one with where else this money is going. So are you investing? Are you saving? Where else is your money going? Maybe it's charity. You got to know exactly where this money is going. Once you got that piece of paper that shows where all of your money is going, keep it, because you're going to be looking at that every single month, because I want you to do this financial analysis of your money every month. That way you can see how you're improving on your finances. I used to guest teach in Detroit public schools. I love teaching. And I used to go to these schools to talk to the kids about entrepreneurship and just general money management. And one time I asked the class, how many of you kids are working a job right now? And almost every kid in the class raised their hand. And then the next question I asked them was, how many of you have a bank account? And out of all these kids that had their hands up, there was like 2 or 3 that maybe kept their hands up. They had all these kids that were going to work, getting a paycheck, but they didn't have a bank account. So what they did was they would get this physical check from their job, and then they would go to the liquor store, pay the liquor store owner 10% of their check to get their cash. So if you made $100, your liquor store owner is going to take $10, so you got $90 left. And then on the way out, you're going to buy chips, you're going to buy pop, you're going to buy a bunch of other dumb things, and then by the time you're out, half your paycheck is going to be gone. Banks are in the business of making loans, okay? The way they make money is by keeping you in debt. You need to understand that. This doesn't always mean that you should just avoid banks or never use them. That means you need to know how banks work. That way you can use banks to your advantage. You need to have at least 2 different bank accounts. You want to have a checking account and you want to have a savings account. They have 2 different purposes because they have 2 different uses. These 2 are the bare minimum. Once you get more involved on the investing side of things, you might open up a 3rd bank account to hold your cash for your investments, but let's just focus on these 2 for now. So your checking account is the money that you're going to be using for spending. So if you have a credit card or a debit card, this card is going to be linked to your checking account because checking accounts let you do a lot more transactions in that bank account. So this checking account is the cash that you have to spend every single month. Your groceries, your rent, your shopping, all of that goes out of this account right here. Your savings account is your savings money. This is not the money that you use to go buy groceries from. The savings account is the money that you're either going to be saving for a big purchase or for your emergency fund. You should actually have 2 different savings accounts if you're going to have this emergency fund and you're saving for a big purchase like a down payment on a house, because you don't want to commingle the 2. You need to have an emergency savings account. This is the money that you use for emergencies only. So if you lose your job or if a tragedy happens, this is the money you have for that. This should be its own savings account, and if you're saving for something like a house or if you're saving for something big, that should have its own separate savings account. Checking accounts and savings accounts have different rules at banks. Like I was kind of mentioning earlier, you can do a lot more transactions in and out of a checking account than you can do with a savings account. So with the savings account, a bank might say you could only do 6 transactions a month, and if you do more than 6 transactions a month, just for an example, then they're going to charge you a fee. Savings accounts also sometimes pay you a higher interest on your money because the bank knows that the money isn't going to be leaving your savings account as much as it will your checking account. The tricky thing with that in the environment that we're in right now in this economy is that we are in a very low interest rate environment. So what that means is if you go out and take a loan, your loan is going to be a very low interest rate, which is good news if you're borrowing money for something good. But the downfall is your bank is going to pay you a very low interest rate on your savings. There used to be a time when banks would pay 2, 3, 4, 5% interest on your savings. Now, you'd be lucky if you get 1% interest on your savings. One thing that you can do here with your savings, and one thing that I do with my savings, is because I don't use my savings every day like I do my checkings account, you can move your savings money into a high interest online savings account, because these online banks have lower overhead fees because they don't have all these like retail branches everywhere. They don't have to pay for tellers and all of that. So they don't have all these retail fees, so they can pay you a higher interest on your savings. Now, it's not anything crazy. It's not going to make up for an investment or anything like that, but it's better than what you're getting at most traditional banks. By the way, I'm going to be talking about a ton of different topics throughout this video, and if there's something that you want to learn more about, like high interest savings accounts, I'll put more resources for you in the description below. Okay, so you want to have a minimum of 2 different bank accounts, your checkings account and your savings account. And what you want to do is when you get your money direct deposited into your bank account from your job, what you should do is create an automatic transfer that moves money from your checking account to your savings account automatically. That way every single month you have money being saved without you having to touch it. That way you know, okay, I don't have extra money to spend because this money has already left your account and it's already been saved. That way you can't accidentally spend this savings money on a brand new TV. Many banks offer features like this for free, so make sure you ask your bank, and you also want to make sure that your bank is not charging you a monthly maintenance fee. So my grandma, who doesn't really speak English, had a bank account with Bank of America for 15 years. And one day, this is actually not that long ago, I went to kind of look at her financial bank statements with her, and I found out that Bank of America was charging her, I think it was $15 a month as a monthly maintenance fee for doing nothing, essentially. So for the last, I don't know how many years, they were charging her $15 a month for no reason, and she kept paying it because she doesn't know that there was alternatives out there. You do not need to pay a monthly maintenance fee just to use the bank account, okay? We are in a new digital age where these type of fees are just, you don't need to do that, okay? So make sure you do your research on your bank. Look for the different bank accounts that you can have. Create a way that when you get paid, you automatically have money moving to your savings account. And if you have a separate bank account for your investment cash, do the same thing for that. That way your money is automatically going to the places where it needs to be. And do not pay any fees that you do not need to pay. Third, let's talk about debt, because not all debt is the same. If you have any sort of high interest debt, so these are things like credit cards or hard money loans, if you have this type of high interest debt, then your sole focus in the beginning right now should be to pay off this high interest debt. All your friends are probably talking about how much money they're making by investing in Tesla or this other hot stock. This should not be your focus right now. Right now, the only thing that you should be doing with your extra money is paying down this debt, because when you have this type of high interest debt where you're paying 10, 12, 15% a year in interest, then your money is compounding and building wealth, not for you, but for your credit card company. You need to pay this off as fast as possible and use every extra penny that you can to pay off this high interest debt. Do not worry about investing. Do not worry about doing anything else until you pay off this high interest debt. I mean, to be honest, you should not be going on vacation. You should not have a Netflix subscription. You should not be eating at restaurants if you have credit card debt. If you have this type of high interest credit card debt, you need to be laser focused to pay down this high interest debt first. So when it comes to debt, you want to get rid of it as fast as possible, and you want to stop fueling the thing that got you into this debt in the first place. If you cannot control your spending, get rid of your credit card until you can control your spending and until you can pay down this debt. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.